So welcome back to my channel. This is Modern Day Young Christians. So today we are going to talk about offering and why we have to give offering. Okay, so before I even use Bible quotations and stuff like that, I feel like we need to give offerings, because in churches we have people that are poor. They will not come up to you to tell you that they are poor. And I don't know if it's all churches. I can't talk for all churches, but for the churches that I have known or heard of, they actually, apart from paying the pastor, who most of the time is a full-time pastor, they don't have job. The only thing they do is to preach, is that they give some of the money to the poor in the church. Okay, because I think there are different kind of pastors out there. There are some pastors that God called them and told them, yo, you ain't gonna be doing nothing but working for me. Okay, so those pastors, like, how do you think they are supposed to feed their family? It's through offering and tithe that they're going to feed their family. And also they give the money to the poor as well. And there are some pastors that they work part-time, so they pay them as well, but also they have some other jobs. Okay, so if you go to a church that your pastor is a full-time pastor, just know it's through tithe and offering that they pay them. So don't be offended and be asking like who's spending my money, like, excuse you, God told you to give out the money. He did not tell you to find out who the hell is going to be spending the money. Okay, so your duty is to just pay the tithes, pay the offering. Today we focus on offering, so let me just use offering. Pay the offering like they did in the Old Testament, like they did in the New Testament, and like we're doing now in the modern world. Okay, pay the offering. But if you are the type that you know God's address, or you know God's email address, then instead of giving it to the church, go give it to God yourself. Okay? But since you don't know God's mail address or email address, then pay the tithe to your church. And if you're the type of person that don't really go to church a lot, you go to this church for some reason, you go here on weekdays, you go here on Sundays, find a church that really has been helpful to you as a Christian, that's been helpful in building your relationship with God, that has been helpful with you knowing more about God, and pay your offering there. Okay, basically, that's what I can say. Okay, don't get torn apart between where and where not to pay. Like, wherever is benefiting you more, that's where I would recommend that you pay your offering there, because that's where you've been receiving the blessings of God from. So that's where you should be paying your tithes and your offering. Okay, so let's just dip into this. So I also wrote here that in the Old Testament, like, the Israelites, they used to give offering to God, like sacrifices, but in the New Testament, because Jesus Christ came to die on the cross of Calvary for us, we no longer have to give God like animals as offerings and stuff like that. So our sacrifice now is like paying offering and stuff like that. Okay, and also if you read in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it did mention, like, after the 12 tribes of Israel went to the promised land, excuse me, God chose Judah, the tribe of Judah, God chose the tribe of Judah to be the tribe that will have like the prophets and stuff like that. Okay, and I remember God said something like the money that they will be, not the money, like the offering that they will be getting, they will the lamb and stuff like that, the food and stuff like that people will be giving as offering for the church, after they do their burnt offering and stuff like that. I believe it was the pastor and his household that could also eat from that. Okay, and I believe also the needy as well. If you weren't allowed to, you don't go there. So I feel like even now the offering is that to me, that's how it's supposed to be. The offering goes to the church, and then the pastor, the household, because he's the leader of the church now. And if he's a full-time pastor, he's not working. Like, where the heck you think? My language. Where do you think that he should get the money from? And he is the head of his household. Like, where do you think he should get the money from to pay his rent, to feed his children and stuff like that? It's through the offering. Okay, that's what I'm telling you guys. Like, pay your offering to the church that has been most helpful to you, has been there for you when you needed them, has been there for you to actually grow in your journey as being a Christian. Pay your offering to that church. Don't be pay your offering to the church that you haven't learned nothing from there, or they haven't helped you in any way, or you haven't learned anything about God in that church. Don't be paying your offering there. Okay, be paying it in the place that if you go to more than one church, be paying in the place that God has really helped you. You've grown as a Christian. You've become more like Christ. You know, that church is where you're supposed to pay your offering. Okay, so what else? Remember, as you're giving your offering, you're giving it to God. Okay, you're giving it to God. Don't be like, I don't like this person, and I'm giving my offering, and he's the one going to be spending it. Don't be thinking that. You're giving your offering to God, and look at it that way. And you're not obligated to how much you're supposed to give. Okay, you're not obligated to nothing. Like, because someone is paying $100 for offering doesn't mean you have to pay $100 for offering when all you have is $1 or like $10 or $2. God cares about what is coming from deep down your heart. It's not about you trying to please people that God care about. No, you can be giving 100 billion as offering or as tithe to God, and if it's not coming from your heart, God does not care about that money. But if you're giving like $2, $3, and God knows like deep down in your heart this is all you have, and you're giving to him, God even appreciates that more than the one that's giving 1 billion and being boastful like, oh yeah, I give 1 million for offering. Like, what do? God does not care about that. He does not care about positions and stuff like that. He cares about your heart and what is deep down in the bottom of your heart. That's what God is worried about. Okay, so give what you can. But when it comes to your tithe though, if you're supposed to be giving God like $100 or like $50,000 for your tithe, and you're giving him $2, like, or you're coming up with excuses like, girl, guy, don't do that. Offering is different, but your tithe, you better be paying that 10%. Jacob was not joking. Okay, you will get more into that. Okay, so let's see some Bible quotations. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 16, it talks a lot about this. Paul was actually talking to the churches. Okay, at the time, he did, especially in verses 1 to 2, he did mention that the first week they should just be collecting, they should be saving up for the church, so when he comes to the church, they will already have the money gathered, you know, and then he will just come and take it. So that's offering. He was talking about offering there. Okay, and also if you read the book of Acts chapter 20 verse 35, Jesus Christ himself even said that it is more, you get more blessing when you give than to receive. Okay, if you also read the book of Luke chapter 6 verse 38, it also talks about offering and stuff like that. It talks about giving and receiving. If you read Proverbs chapter 11 verse 24, it also talks about that. If you read 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 7, it also talks about offering. Giving is better to give than to receive. Good pleasures, measures, and all that stuff. It talks about that in there. If you read Malachi chapter 3 verse 8, it also talks about that. And also, like I keep saying, do not think that when you give offering, someone is going to spend it. So why don't you spend it? Just do as the Bible says and be free, because it's better, like it says, is you even get more blessing when you give than you receive. Okay, so just give your tithe to God, give your offering to God, and God will bless you. This is like a channel that God uses to actually bless his children. Okay, so if you are stingy in your offering, you are stingy in your tithes, don't do that. Like, there are quotations in here that actually support that we're supposed to be giving our tithes and our offerings to God, to the church. Okay, and as I said, if you think you know the address of God, just actually holler me. Okay, holler me. I want to find out too. Okay, but if you don't know the address of God, give it to the church that you go to. If you go to more than one churches, you know, for different reasons, give it to the church that has been helpful to you on your journey as being a Christian. Simple being said and being put. So those of you that have questions about why do we have to pay offering, the quotations are here. Acts chapter 20 verse 35. Also 1 Corinthians chapter 16 verse 1 to 2. Also Luke chapter 6 verse 38. Proverbs 11 verse 24. 2 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 7. Malachi chapter 3 verse 8. It all talks about offering and why we should give our offering. Okay, I'm gonna leave these quotations down below, and then I'll put why we need to pay offering. So if you guys want to go over them as you watching this video, that's fine. Okay, but I'm gonna leave them below so you guys will, you know, go there and just find out for yourself if what I'm saying is true or I'm lying. I guess this was not as fun, right? But it's okay, it's all good. We're still learning here, so we have one more to go. We're gonna talk about why we need to pay tithes. this is all Jacob's fault. We're gonna talk more about that. Okay, so thank you all for watching this video. This was really short. I like it, but it wasn't as fun because, like I said, it's more about reading Bible verses. Because when it comes to stuff like this, you just have to read Bible verses, you know. Because, and also, like I said earlier on, I feel like giving offering is good. Okay, apart from paying the pastor, is good because there are a lot of church members, people that come to church because they are needy, they are in need, and they know that Christians, or like even religious people, I would say, I mean, Christianity is not a religion, but I would say Christians or Christian or other religion and other religions, they it's easier for them to go there for help when they are poor and they are needy and stuff like that. And also, like if they have like old people in the church, you know, they also support them. And how do you think they will get the money if they have, even if they haven't fundraising and stuff like that? They're giving out stuff on Mother's Day, Father's Day, they're giving out free bills, they're giving out supplies for the kids, they're giving out snacks for the kids. How do you think they're getting the money from? It's all from the offering. Okay, and I can actually say that with experience. Back home, I used to be a Sunday school teacher. Yeah, I was pretty young. I used to be a Sunday school teacher for my uncle's church. Before I got here, I was really young when I was a Sunday school teacher. I was like 11, but I used to teach like the little kids, probably like 0 years to like 5 years, because I was 11 at that time. Those were the kids that I teach, and usually they will pay offering. And you know what I do? I take the offering. I don't give it to the main church. Okay, my uncle already knew that. I take the offering. I keep them in the box, and the following Sunday I will take part of that. I will take like, maybe if I get like $15 as offering from the kids, I will take like $3 from the money. Then I'll buy candy and snacks for the kids for the following Sunday. So when they're able to say their memory verse or quotations, and I will like what you call that psychology word, I will appraise them, not appraise them, like I will reward them with a candy or like, you know, or cookie or something. And if they see, like, they know Miss Jennifer will always bring candy or like cookies, so they will always come back prepared. They will remember the quotation that we learned the previous week, and then what we will learn that Sunday, they will actually learn it. They will pay attention because they know if they get the quotation right, I'll give them candy and snacks. And that was all like ways to actually help them, actually, you know, reward them, so that they will actually learn the quotations, and it will be even fun for them. So that's the reason why we collected offering then, because I mean, they were little kids, like, come on, but the parents gave them offering anyway. So yeah. And also during the end of the year, you know, Christmas and stuff like that, that's when we actually made food for the children. We add, sometimes they add even money from the big church to it. You know, if it's not enough, you just make food, we bring drinks, you know, we will just celebrate with the kids. And that's what we use the money from Sunday school for. So I think every church is different. You know, like I'm saying, some churches, they will give the money, some of the money to the pastor. They will give some of the money to actually pay the rent of the church itself. If the church does not own the place, they will pay electricity bill, they will pay like plumbing. If something messes up in the church, that's the money that they will use to fix up the church. If there is someone in need in the church, that's the money that they use to help. If someone, you know, there are some churches, like if you belong to groups and stuff like that, they collect money as well. If something goes wrong with the person, they will use the money to help. If the person, you know, something good happens to the person, they will use the money to help as well. You know, like if somebody dies, they'll use the money to help. If somebody gives birth, they will use the money to help. You know, they, like if somebody is in need, somebody's husband died and stuff like that, and they don't have nobody, they use the money to help. If somebody loses their home and stuff like that and they need help, they will use the money to help. If somebody needs their school child's fees to be paid, they will use that'll be like back home, they'll use the money to help. Like it depends on what they use the money for, you know, in churches. So don't be thinking that you pay the money, everything goes to the pastor's pocket, and then the pastor just be boom, 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 chopping your money up and down. Nope. No. Okay, I don't know about other churches, but I'm just talking about what I know. That's not how it works. They actually use the money to build up the church as well. You know, all these posters, the you know, the quotations, all those big banners and stuff like that, the screens and everything, is either people give them for free or the church actually uses money to get them. Okay, so yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I have been able to encourage or like persuade someone to actually pay their offering, because it's pretty important. And remember, there is more blessing in giving than receiving. You don't know who you're putting a smile on their face by paying your tithe and your offering. Never feel like, or don't ever feel like you pay your tithe for someone to just be spending it. You don't know where the money is going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you will learn how to give offering. And also, like I said, don't give if you don't have, it's okay, but when you have, give what you have, because God looks in the heart. I know man looks in the face, but God looks in the heart. God knows, even if it's just $1 that you're giving for offering, God knows it's coming from your heart, and that's what you can afford or to give at that time, and He will richly bless you for that. And so I hope this video was encouraging. You don't have to be obligated to give if you don't have, basically. Okay, so I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. I did learn a lot. It wasn't as fun, but like I said, it was all quotations. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back for more. I love you all, and God loves you more.